Greetings and salutations. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. My name is Eric Moss. I'm a personal trainer, motivational speaker, and a modern day performing strongman. If you're unfamiliar with what a modern day performing strongman is, picture the old time strongmen. Legends of the past like the mighty Adam and Alexander Zass. They would perform real life feats of strength as part of a live show. I do a similar thing, but with a modern day twist. Some of the feats of strength I've performed in front of a live audience include things like bending steel bars, breaking chains with my chest, twisting horseshoes, rolling up frying pans, driving nails through wooden boards by hand, and even holding back a high-performance motorcycle while taking off at full throttle. Now, being a modern-day performing strongman and the fact that there's not a whole lot of us around these days to answer people's questions, I decided to start a YouTube series called Ask Eric Moss, where I would invite you to ask me a question by dropping it in the comments below. And when you do that, I try to get back to you with your very own custom video just for you, as well as anybody else who happens to have the same question. So, this question comes from what the heck is going on with my pictures? There we go. Okay. Karwoski 91. Are the old courses of Zass suited for a beginner, or should we just adjust it to our specific goals? Thank you for asking me that. So one of the things that I have to ask you is, when you say you're a beginner, how much of a beginner are you? Are you young? Are you older? Are you someone who's in the middle age, who's just getting started with strength training? Are you a teenager? Every question has to be taken into context. The other question I have for you is, when you say specific goals, what are your specific goals? Are isometrics even appropriate for it? For one of the things is that I'm a personal trainer, and when people come to me to help them get stronger, my first resort isn't isometrics. I use isometrics a little bit later down the line, depending on how they're responding to dynamic training. So as an example, one of the reasons that I might have one of my clients do isometrics is, like, if they're doing curls or something, or they're doing chin-ups and their elbows start complaining, which sometimes they do because the joints get inflamed or the tendons get inflamed. That would be the time when I would switch out whatever it is that they're doing that's irritating that, and doing isometrics in its place, because there isn't really any abrasion that happens to the joint since there's no moving parts. Now, if your goal is to become a modern day performing strongman that performs some of the similar feats of strength, in actuality, what the old timers used to do is they would demonstrate their strength across a variety of many different ways of doing it. Like, as an example, the mighty Adam was big on bending steel. Alexander Zass was big on bending steel. That's the reason that I cite them at the beginning of these YouTube videos, because there is a particular style. Arthur Saxon, I don't think, was very big into bending things. He would support massive weights over his head with one hand, and he was like the best at that. Eugene Sandow did a similar sort of thing, although I do know that he was able to rip decks of cards, or at least that's what was reported in his book, was he had performed that particular feat of strength in front of some kind of royalty, although I don't remember the exact person that they would do. Eugene Sandow even one time wanted to demonstrate his strength by taking on a lion. You know, although it ended up being an older lion, and I think they probably had his claws covered or something. That was back before animal rights would stop that sort of thing. So if your goal is to lift heavier weights, then I would recommend progressive resistance training. If your goal is to bend steel, then you have to train to bend steel. So everything to answer your question, yes and no. Everything has to be taken into context of where you are compared to where you want to go, like where you are physically versus what is the actual goal, and then you come up with a plan to get from here to there. But anyways, I hope that answers your question. If anybody else has any questions for me, drop it in the comments below and I'll try to get back to you with your very own custom video. But anyways, if you like this video, please let me know by hitting that like button. If you want to see more of this sort of thing, subscribe to the channel and you can see the answers that I have for people's questions. And you can see the chronicles for my various performances that I have across the country. And if you think anybody should see this, please share it with them. This isn't rocket science. And last but not least, if you want to support the channel, buy a copy of my book. Everybody loves having, everybody who has read it has told me how much they love it. I remember I was like possessed with a muse when I had that. And if you're going to sit down reading a book, you might as well enjoy a nice cup of coffee that happens to be good for you at the same time. My cousin had started that coffee company, and if you click the link below for that coffee company and you apply the promo code, you'll get 10% off of 10% off of that particular package of coffee and every other package that you happen to use a promo code for. And I get a little bit of a kickback on my side as well. It's not a ton, but every little bit helps. But in the meantime, please stay happy, healthy, and strong. Eric Moss, over and out.